We celebrate for 4 days or 5 days here because that was a first win against this group.
Mr. Saeed Osman is referring to the controversial decision by a Dutch mayor and a Dutch court, who banned the multi-day conference held by young Eritreans annually, that was meant to take place in the tiny Dutch town and municipality of Veldhoven, from the 13th to 17th of April. As it has been clear to many by now, the whole charade and deplorable act was pre-planned in advance, with the Dutch mayor, Dutch police, Dutch court, and even some Dutch MPs unofficially supporting the so-called refugees who were openly beating up women and threatening to kill those that were attending the conference.
But don't you think that those people, even if you don't agree with them, and even if they are horrible people,
the only horrible people are those that were openly threatening to kill the so-called refugees that the Dutch media and government seems to be pampering and encouraging such abhorrent behavior in the Netherlands.
but don't you think that those people, even if you don't agree with them, and even if they are horrible people, should have the right to talk together and have a conference?
No, I think it is not normal for me. Everything I lose because of by this group.
What possibly can you lose from these young Eritreans, who most of them are born and raised in Europe? Huh? What have you lost from these young kids? What did these peaceful young kids do to you? Huh? You're probably old enough to be some of the attendees' dad. Why make up such a lie?
I lose because of by this group, so I cannot allow them.
Who are you, a so-called asylum, who reached Europe by boat, to allow or not allow those who are mostly born and raised in Europe from gathering together, learning about their culture and native country, discussing the challenges they face, intermingling and much more? Who are you, to allow or not allow these kids' basic right to assemble as young law-abiding European citizens? These asylees have been so spoiled by European nations and their previous misguided policies of accepting Eritreans no matter what, that they now think they can do whatever they want, like going to a peaceful conference uninvited, beating up and threatening to kill innocent people in broad daylight.
I cannot allow them, and why they are not? They don't making the politics in their country. Why they make it here?
Another case of the pot calling the kettle black. Why are you people coming here to a European country and screaming, "Dictator must go, dictator must go"?
Dictator must go! 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 Dictator must go!
Is the imaginary dictator you speak of located in Europe or Holland? Huh? Most of you are grown men. Why don't you go and fight your imaginary dictator? If there really is one, why are you coming here to Europe, beating up and threatening to kill innocent people? You are the last person to dictate where and when European citizens can have their gatherings and meetings. What happened last week were the demands and goals of asylees who hit women, verbally abused them, and openly threatened to kill innocent people. The fact that their demands and goals were allowed to materialize, thanks to the wrong decisions of the mayor, the court and police, has shocked many in Europe and around the world. After this shocking event in Holland, more and more Europeans and others are questioning the policy of blindly accepting those claiming to be Eritreans. Some are saying that Europe should stop the invitation of these type of migrants who do not shy away from committing criminal activities in broad daylight.
We shouldn't have invited them. And you invited them and opened asylum, 10,000, we'll give you 10,000 asylum, for Eritreans. Anybody that lives in a poor country thinks that they can get money quickly.
So what would you say to the Dutch government? Stop it?
Stop your welfare.
Sophia Tesfamariam, analyst from the US Foundation on the Horn of Africa, speaking there. Many have expressed the same views, that most of these people are simply economic migrants, who have been spoiled and pampered by Europe. In some parts of Europe, they've become so spoiled that you have so-called asylum seekers complaining about the free accommodation.
Oggi dopo mezzodì intorno all'1:30, Werner Braun, il manager della dimora, tils bifgnainta con un aperitivo. 14 fuggitivi dell'Eritrea ci derono l'ultimo tempo a lei. Tot pare in ordine. Ed il capo comunale arriva per tils salutare. E l'ora fanno a sapere, ci non lasciano restare qui. Es fan schöver, es non van eint, es non van per lur bagagli, es lasciano tornare all'Ax, il rustico o a Quaira.
Rustico ist groß, ich gehe nach Kur ist die gut.
Big City.
Ja.
Und hier?
Hier ist die Stadt klein darauf.
Sehr klein.
Ja, schlimmer. Ganz schlimmer. Ganz ärger.
Jetzt geht's das Zeug ausladen, aber subito.
Il manager ist gelus, però tot nu de nölja.
Ja, mit mir kann man nicht spielen, weißt? Das ist ganz klar. Hm? Und ich finde, das ist natürlich total deplatziert, was da jetzt geht. Hm?
Da war contractives e telefonats con uffizi di migrazione e della dimora a lei.
You want to sleep outside or you want to sleep in a house? So please take your things and go in the house and sleep there.
In una grande scelta e tots per una buona fine. Ulteriori fuggitivi seguiranno e la popolazione della Val Müstair era informata in Giovgia Civain.
You can't really blame these migrants. You can only blame the irresponsible policies of European nations when it comes to blindly accepting migrants from Eritrea, with many other Africans, in particular Ethiopians, pretending to be Eritreans. These migrants have been fed so much false information, whether it be by NGOs, Western institutions, human traffickers, that it's an expectation for them to be treated like kings and queens, with free housing and much more.
Kur ist die gut.
Big City.
Ja.
Und hier?
Hier ist die Stadt klein darauf.
Sehr klein.
Ja, schlimmer. Ganz schlimmer. Ganz ärger.
The message that is sent to these migrants is that, as long as you scream, dictator must go, thousands of miles away from Africa, as long as you oppose the Eritrean government, you are practically free to say and do whatever you like, whether that be openly threatening innocent people, or kicking women in the head. Some of these people have been bragging ever since on how the Dutch government is on their side, and that they would continue such acts. These migrants have been emboldened and encouraged by so-called Dutch experts, who are well known for their anti-Eritrea stance. One prominent lawyer has warned that if the Dutch government continues to be swayed by the advice and opinions of corrupt individuals, and if it does not promptly address and investigate the grave mistake that has been made by letting the majority of those that participated in their pre-planned choreographed violent protests, those that made the threats of killing innocent people, might see the Dutch government's actions, or lack of, as a green light to go ahead and carry out their threats, which would subsequently make the Dutch responsible for any subsequent bloodshed or deaths as a result.
فتوحاتي هاي